The question that you can ask yourself here, do I have beliefs that support my vision realization? Do I believe that the vision I hold, the goals that I hold are possible for me on a deeper level? The subconscious beliefs are not just in your mind, are felt in your body. So check in with yourself. When you think about the goals and aspirations you have for the next half of the year or beyond, how do you feel? How confident you feel about them? Do you believe that they are totally possible and they are really going to happen? Welcome to another episode of Extraordinary Leadership Podcast. My name is Dagmara Asbrook. I am your host, catalyst of leadership transformation. And I welcome you here to this Extraordinary Leadership place where we are together paving a new way and a new paradigm of leading and succeeding, where presence, joy, and less efforts are present, and where we can really sustain the growth and success and fulfillment that we so much desire in our businesses and in our lives. Now, we are just above the first half of 2025. And I created this episode just for you so that you can pause, slow down, look back, and honor your first half of the year, celebrate it, and learn from it. And so that you can prepare for the second half of the year, that part of the year where it is in front of you, and prepare how do you want to walk that path, that time, what you want to call into your leadership, business, and life. Who do you want to be in that process? What goals, what vision you want to actually realize with your business, with your team, with your organization, and in your career. This episode will be extremely important for you if you have not realized all of your goals and intentions that you had in the first year as you wanted. Maybe your team has not achieved the performance or KPIs. Engagement is not as you want. The business performance is not where it should be. Or maybe you haven't landed yet the role that you really want. Or this episode will be also for you if actually the first half of the year was really amazing. And I know for some of you that has been an incredibly beautiful first half of the year, finishing maybe even with the feeling of wow, or oh, wow, what else can come? So it will be also for you because maybe your second half of the year and beyond is about your next level of goals and ambitions and abundance and meaning and joy that you want sign new partnerships, bring new talents into your business and organization, or maybe next half of a year is about you reinventing your career, or creating a new role in a place that you feel really you can belong and you can make the desired impact. So it will be for you in any of those cases. And it will help you to see where you need to strengthen, what you need to prioritize. Because in fact, in this episode, I want to walk you through 9 key components that we deeply embody in Ascent of Extraordinary Leadership. Key levers, key enablers of exponential growth, of success and fulfillment at the same time, of creating results with less efforts and more joy, more presence. So if you have worked with me already in full or in some part of this process, that will be a beautiful moment to check in with yourself and see where you are on those different important habits and components. And if you have never heard about, Ascent to Extraordinary Leadership, is maybe the very first time to hear about that program and the process of embodiment, then fantastic. Then you are going to walk with me today, and we are going to actually unpack those 9 critical steps, habits that actually are behind the scenes creating your success and fulfillment and leading you to realize actually your vision and lead your organization, your business to the next level. And so you will learn along this journey and have a moment of reflection and walk out with clarity. And towards the end of this episode, I'm also going to offer you a mini envisioning exercise. We do a lot of this, of course, in a journeys with in extraordinary leadership, but it will be just a mini glimpse that helps you to get more clear on the second half of the year. I want to start by asking you to just first take a moment and breathe in deeply. Bring your awareness to your body, to your present moment. Slow down your breath, giving yourself just a precious moment of being present and focusing on your inner self. And I want to start by asking you, looking back on the last 6 months, what's worked in the last 6 months for you? What are you really proud of? What are you really celebrating? How did you show up? Where did you show up fully, committed, and in? What was the dominant feeling that you've been living through and by and with every single day? And maybe you can also bring into your attention the memories, the meaningful memories from the last 6 months. Something that you're really, really deeply grateful for. And that's the moment to celebrate. That's the moment to acknowledge and honor with gratitude the very first half of a year. That's a moment to give yourself permission to see it, feel it, and celebrate yourself. And maybe also recognize that every moment of that last 6 months, every part of this last 6 months has been really meant for you. The beautiful, the super successful, but also the one that has not worked as you wanted. What if all those moments of possible challenge that you encounter or hardship has been exactly meant for you? So what hasn't worked out? What goals, what your intentions that you haven't really realized, haven't shown up yet in your reality, either in your business, your team, your life? What felt heavy, unclear, or misaligned? Just bring those moments too with honesty, with compassion, and also with gratitude. Let go all the judgment and criticizing yourself or disappointments in you and others that may be still there. And just see it as facts, as input, as feedback. It's just information that actually are valuable for your second half. Or maybe you can even see them as gifts. Gifts that life gave you. Lessons, reminders, powerful reminders. Some of them are such a powerful reminders that your last half of the year gave you. So that in the second half of the year, you can truly walk the path more aligned, more empowered, more joyful, more present, more calm, more grounded, more confident, bolder, and also at the same time more compassionate, more energized. Yes, anything that comes to you now, you are meant to receive. Is your intuition speaking to you. And you may want to pause this episode if you receive a lot of insights and information and write down whatever came to you from this mini moment of presence and reflection and honoring your very first half of 2025. In extraordinary leadership, we truly believe and understand that the strategy, the outcomes, the results, the impact, it starts all with ourselves. We are the ripple effect for everything that happens in our business, in our team, in organization, and in life. If you like, that's the premise of quantum leadership. So we also know that in order to realize something, in order to, let's say, bring next level of performance with our businesses or teams, develop people, attract right clients or clients, or realize the strategy that we truly want and the objectives that we have, we really need to go one level deeper and look into who we are being, look into how we are showing up, and look into how we are mastering ourselves. That is what creates powerful strategy, is a source of our energy, of our productivity, of our way of communication, of who we actually attract clients or talents, and how people feel with us. What's the impact that we are making? And of course, through that, what's the response that we're receiving? So it's absolute game changer for stakeholder management, for relationship management, for visibility, for anything that we need in leadership to be a great leaders. Leaders that our vision, our business, and our team really truly wants. These 9 elements are cornerstones of ascent to extraordinary leadership. So these 9 key habits, levers, call it as you like, are really impacting to 80% your success, your fulfillment, your degree of leadership impact, and how your business organization and team actually functions, operates, and succeeds. So they are really, really instrumental. So let us walk through them. And while I'm walking through them, I'm inviting you to give yourself a number from 1 to 10, because that's how you are going to bring back home the tangibility and see what's your priority. So 1 is the lowest and 10, of course, is the highest. So number 1 is state mastery. Our state defines pretty everything in our days, but also in business results. And it affects our well being, our performance, our relationships. So we really focus and prioritize on mastering it because we see ourselves as CEOs of our life and teams and business and all of that, right? And obviously, state and energy is multifaceted, is physical, is emotional, mental, spiritual, and social. There are other episodes going into depth of that. But for now, the question that you can ask yourself is, how was your energy level in the last 6 months? From 1 to 10. High or low? Have you been operating from a grounded, calm, confident, trusting place? Or you found yourself more in this flight, fight, freeze modes, of hustling, being busy, compromising yourself, and putting in priority everything else than yourself and not having time for yourself, actually. And maybe, finding yourself in worries, in doubts, and being anxious. Just checking with yourself, where have you spent most of the time in 2025 so far in this first half of the year? Because that will give you a first orientation point if you need to recalibrate and prioritize that part. Very often we compromise ourselves. A lot of high performing leaders have been taught for years and bought into this lie that they cannot slow down. They cannot create space for themselves before they achieve something during the day. And so, yes, it is very common challenge number one for high performing ambitious leaders. If you one of them, you may be also confronted and challenged with that. I noticed in the last 2 weeks, I started to compromise my breaks, for example, my longer breaks during the day, which brings me more into the presence and higher energy. And then, of course, productivity during the day and better impact, right? So, checking with yourself, how was your state mastery in the last 6 months? From 1 to 10, give yourself a number. And if the number is lower, then you know that that's something you will need to choose to prioritize, because your energy, your state is your fuel. And that's your priority as a CEO of your life, as CEO of your business, or an executive or founder. It doesn't matter which role you actually play. You need to see yourself as you matter and your energy matter, and that's the priority. So that's checking point number one. Number two is embodied identity. Are you leading and showing up from your past self or from your future self? From this next level identity that you need to truly embody so that you can realize your vision. You see, so many of leaders are creating vision and ambitious goals, and that's a great starting point. But they struggle in realizing that because they do not shift from within, they do not upgrade the identity, who they believe they are, and how they are being in a daily basis. And so, confronted with doubts, resistance, or anxiousness, with worries, with sabotaging the steps, just because the inner system is not in alignment and serving and supporting the vision and a goal they're creating. So, this is a very important point for us leaders to ask ourselves. Am I showing up, embodying, leading from my past conditioned self, or from that future that I'm here to make, here to realize together with my team and in my business and in my life? And you can only lead from two parts of yourself, either your past conditioned self that will lead you to reproducing the past results. And many times it's just finished with exhaustion and stuckness and slow progress. Or you're going to shift your identity. You're going to start your day as that next level self, that version of you that already realize the vision that you are here after and have what you want to have. There are several practices that we have, of course, along the journey of ascent to extraordinary leadership that we master, that we focus on, and helping us to really shift that identity, because that's a process. One thing that I can invite you, if you haven't done, is start your day. Start your day as that version of yourself. Feel into being that version of yourself now. And then walk through a day as that version of yourself. So, checking with yourself where you are on this journey. Do you have the clarity of who you are becoming and who you choosing every day to be more of? And do you have practices that helps you to be in that state, to be in that identity? And do you take choices from that place? This is what embodied identity is looking like. So give yourself a number 1 to 10. And again, that is a huge, huge, huge driver of your success. A third key practice that impacts if you succeed or not with your vision and aspirations and goals: subconscious beliefs. You realize what you believe. You become what you believe. You receive what you believe. You attract what you believe. Beliefs are basically shaping our reality. And the truth of the matter is, most of them are sabotaging our success. And we are completely unaware of them because we absorbed quite a lot of those limitations, limiting beliefs from a very early childhood. What helps us in realizing our vision is to shift our beliefs, limiting beliefs that we are conditioned and living by. And of course, we first need to find them. I do it on a daily basis when I work with clients, right? With leaders. We are flashing out even those leaders who have worked with me for a longer time, still discover new beliefs. And I still discover new beliefs. But I have a system for that. I have practices for that. And I have the people for that help me to see and be my mirror and challenge me and help me to see my own limitations. Because you can't see what, the box that you're in, as I always say, you can't see it by yourself. The question that you can ask yourself here, do I have beliefs that support my vision realization? Do I believe that the vision I hold, the goals that I hold are possible for me on a deeper level? The subconscious beliefs are not just in your mind, are felt in your body. So check in with yourself. When you think about the goals and aspirations you have for the next half of the year or beyond, how do you feel? How confident you feel about them? Do you believe that they are totally possible and they are really going to happen? How do you feel about yourself? Realizing that. How do you feel about team that is helping you to realize that? How do you feel about the ability to bring limitless success and fulfillment and lead your organization, your business with joy and ease and less effort? What you feel when I'm sharing that will reveal where resistance is, at least the first part. Because here's the thing, whenever we feel some kind of tension, resistance in our body, that is a sign, there is some limiting beliefs beneath the surface we need to explore and shift. Beliefs such as can be related to, I need to work hard to realize my team is not up to speed. They don't understand. They are not wanting to grow. That's a limiting belief. Very often, very, very subtle. Or limiting beliefs that I am not successful yet. Or I cannot create space for myself and, boundaries or time for myself because I have not achieved yet. I cannot rest because I have not achieved yet. So, what can you take away from that? Number one, ask yourself, do I know which beliefs I have about success, about my goals, about my team, about myself, about my business, about money, about clients? Do I know beliefs that I hold in all those different areas about landing a job? If that's where you are at, or even reinventing yourself. Oh, there can be so many different limiting beliefs. Can I be successful and earn money? Can I be successful and happy? If I go for the next level, does I need to work harder? That's a limiting belief. Do I know my beliefs? Are my beliefs fueling my vision? And do I have people and ecosystem and tools that helps me to flush out those beliefs and shift of beliefs? These are very fundamental things to ask yourself in order to give yourself 1 to 10. How is that area in my life, in my leadership? That really is important for realizing my goals. So that's number 3. Number 4, emotional agility and presence. Yes, emotional intelligence and how you navigate your emotions inside, how you navigate the emotional dynamic in the conversation do matter in speed and ability even to realize your vision and mission and in your leadership impact. Quite a lot. Are you processing emotions or are you avoiding them? Are you trying not to think about emotions because emotions are your obstacles? Are you compassionate and kind to yourself when things do not go as a plan? Are you compassionate, kind to others when they do not deliver? Or you go into the judgment and blaming mood? Assuming. Are you actually feeling, sensing, seeing the emotional dynamic between people or in your team? Do you tune into that? Those are important information. Emotions are always important informations. For years I've been avoiding emotions or remunerating on negative emotions. That's also not dealing with emotions. When we kind, compassionate, and we let the emotions pass through, that's the moment when we actually are really showing emotional agility, or allowing them to pass and be a part of a human experience. That's the moment where we can be compassionate and empathic to ourselves. This is the moment where we allow ourselves to be human. And when we allow ourselves to be human and be vulnerable at times and share about our emotions that we go through with others, we allow that space to others. We become more human, if you like. And we create that psychological safety in our organizations and businesses and with our clients potentially too. And that is what is a game changer in how we foster engagement, collaboration. So, emotional agility, present being with your emotions and shifting your emotions and becoming more empathic and compassionate to yourself, to others, is an important leverage in your leadership success. So ask yourself on 1 to 10, where are you in that perimeter? Are you suppressing, avoiding them, not trying to deal with them and go through the day, with angry or worry? Or you have tools, resources that help you to shift. In Ascent to Extraordinary Leadership, we have plenty of resources that help leaders shift faster and embrace emotions with compassion, empathy, and allow them to pass through. Because that's the process that we need to learn. So that was number 4. Number 5, taking bold, aligned actions fast. That's an important one. When you look back on the last 6 months, how many times have you taken really a fast decision, fast action based on trusting your intuition, trusting your vision, even if you didn't have an evidence for that decision? Even if maybe some people told you that it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. How many times you allowed yourself to listen to that nudge, to something that comes with a light speed and just feels right? And ask yourself how many times you have had that insight, you had that intuitive nudge, you had that desire to take a bold decision and move fast, and boom, minute after, your mind hijacked you and doubts were showering your mind. Maybe that bold decision was about investments. Maybe that bold decision was about bold direction of the business, or letting go of some members, or having a difficult conversations with honesty. So many different opportunities that we invited to act fast and bold. So ask yourself on 1 to 10, where are you in that game of boldness and taking action, fast action, and staying in that energy? I consider myself as a person that take faster and bolder decision with my inner journey more and more and more. So that became more my natural, my normal. In the past, I struggled. I was overthinking. I was taking a lot of, decisions through the analytical mind and going in a vicious loops. So the moment I understand how the mind works, I shift the gear. But there is a second part that I discovered as well in this process and worth sharing, is that after taking a bold decision, somewhere in the process, subtly, the hijack was showing up, right? The doubts of that decision or taking the next steps and so on. So, taking a bold, aligned decisions and actions means to not only decide that you're doing something, but also you stay with it. You continue to show up, despite maybe lack of evidence that it actually works. But you do it from a conviction. You do it from this deeper knowing that your intuition, your vision is right. You take it from this place of deeper trust. And when you are able to do so, and I see that in my clients, I see it in myself, this is where you really walk with joy. and you create speed, you unlock exponential growth. So, are you or have you in the last 6 months taken bold actions and stayed in, that energy of boldness and continuation? Or have you noticed that your mind has been hijacking you and doubting in your decisions, in your actions that felt intuitive fast? And just give yourself a number 1 to 10 without judgment, just evaluation. Because if this is low, this is the place where you will need to rise in the next months. Number 6, expand capacity to receive. In external leadership, we know that the results reflect your nervous system, the degree to which you allow yourself to receive something, in other words. Beliefs is one area which I mentioned before. It's very important that they are in alignment to supporting your vision, not sabotaging your vision. The same is an identity of who you are. But one important part is your nervous system, is how safe you feel with holding more, how safe you feel with allowing more to come. And that's a very subtle, very gentle thing. Not so long time ago, I was holding a 21-day challenge of money challenge with a couple of my clients. We were doing that to expand our capacity to receive more wealth, more abundance, more money with joy. And we do it from a conscious place because we know that that's an incremental, instrumental part in creating, allowing anything that you want into your life more in. It is more joy, more results, more peace, more calmness, more money, whatever it is, more clients. You need to regulate your nervous system in order to do that because you can only receive as your nervous system is allowing you to. And so we practice that, we expand that. We expand that capacity to receive inside our body, not inside our mindset, but inside our body, to hold more and to be ready. One very practical and tangible aspect of that can be, for example, are you having space in your calendar for unexpected? Are you in a good shape physically for the vision and the goals that you are bringing, you are willing to bring, you are willing to see in your business and with your team in your organization? Or do you feel safe when you think about realizing those bigger goals, bigger numbers? Do you feel level of safety or do you feel tension in your body? Those are signals that giving you a sign, oh, there might be some need for adjusting my safety within myself, safety and feeling worthy of receiving, allowing that receiving of what I want to receive and bring to my life any bigger results, goals that you hold. That's something that have its own journey and has its own, I call it energetic activations and techniques and resources that we practice as well and habits. It's not something that through this listening to me today, you're going to expand. But the reason I'm bringing here is to check in with yourself. Maybe first of all, how aware are you about that? Many leaders are not aware about it. I have not been aware about that. So please do not feel bad about it, that it sounds like completely new to you. And ask yourself how safe I feel when I think about more coming to my life, more coming to my business, more coming to in terms of performance, in terms of objectives, in terms of do I have a capacity to hold it? Ask yourself 1 to 10. What is your intuitive number? Your intuition already knows, even if your rational mind have not grasped yet the concept. But intuitively, you already have number. And if the number is low, that's definitely space of receiving. I personally will be having that as one of my priority for next half of a year because I notice that this capacity of receiving, this nuance, this very delicate nervous system expansion play a role. And that's where I will be anchoring more and bringing, of course, through my journey, more resources to my clients. So that was number 6. Number 7, your relationship to time and results. In other words, do you walk the journey enjoying it or rushing it? Are you rushing, forcing, controlling, or creating with trust, with joy, with space? In other words, how attached are you to the end result? Many times when we set our goals and intentions and plans, we're very attached to really realize them at that given time that we have actually created according to the plan. So when these results do not show up as we want, as per pace we want, we stop enjoying the journey. We start to criticize ourselves, right? We look for how can we quickly improve? Who is maybe to blame even, right? What circumstance is blame here? Why we couldn't? We go in all those analytics. But the point is that the more we focus on enjoying that journey and knowing that results are on its way, detaching from this obsession of, you know, getting to these results that we want and focusing more on the journey, on how we are in this journey, how we are showing up, how we are leading, who are we becoming in this journey, the faster the results will actually come. So many of us come from this place of chasing the results and outcomes that we don't have and attaching ourselves and our sense of self-worth and value and success to that results. And when those results do not come, it triggers something in our system, an autopilot system. And we start criticizing ourselves and doubting others who are part of creating that outcomes as well. So invitation here, first of all, is to checking with yourself 1 to 10. How have you been walking in the last 6 months? How was your response when the results didn't come as you wanted? Were you blaming yourself, criticizing yourself, doubting yourself, starting to think maybe that's not the right strategy? We need to change something? Or have you been staying grounded, calm, trusting yourself, knowing that everything has its perfect time, and tuning more to gratitude of what you experience, bringing more joy into your days, seeing every step along the way as a progress, seeing every step along the way, including those that do not work, as a gift. That shifts the gear, that shifts the energy, that shifts the way you are walking and realizing your results. So give yourself 1 to 10. How do you experience the journey? Are you attached and chasing to when there is and waiting until the results will happen? And only then you will be successful, happy, joyful, relaxed? Or can you do it now? Are you doing it now? Have you been doing it now? Have you been showing up with joy, with gratitude, with trust, with calmness? Not depending on circumstances, not depending on the results, if they are there or not. And seeing everything on this journey is meant for you and as a progress. Number 8 is about communication. First of all, communicating from an aligned place of truth, from authentic place, aligned with what matters for you, with your values. Communicating with boldness, speaking up what needs to be said, and with clarity, with transparency, but also with compassion. But communication is also asking powerful questions, questions that activate change, questions that evoke new thinking, that bring new solutions and inspire ownership. Those questions really are important in your communication, especially when you lead a team. Finally, it's also the awareness of how you make people feel, because your communication doesn't only happen through words, it happens through your body language, through energy of your voice, through the whole composition of how you communicate. And it's vastly subconscious. So it's also being aware of how people feel with me, how my way of communication make an impact. And you may even want to ask yourself, how often have I been in convincing mode? in explaining many, many times the same things for people, repeating myself, this is a sign of so called ineffective communication. This is a sign that actually you are pushing, you are over communicating, but you're not pulling, you're not listening, you're not understanding, you're not empathetic in this moment, you're not curious enough to understand why these things happen. And maybe you need to shift something in your communication. Maybe you need to shift from convincing to asking powerful questions. And so ask yourself 1 to 10, where are you in this communication? The last one is about reflection observation, supporting all of the others we mentioned. So you see, one of the most important things I realized in this journey is that what we observe, we can shift, we can change, and what we observe becomes our reality. It's when we pause and when we observe our thoughts, our emotions, our narratives, we observe our state, we observe ourselves in the situation, that we start to get aware of what we need to shift. Otherwise, we all the time running on autopilot. So that's kind of one important thing. Why and what's the reason? So ask yourself, do you pause on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, to observe your thoughts, your emotions, your responses, your reactions? Observe what's going on in a business, how people show up, how clients respond, how your team takes responsibility or not. Because that observation gives you input. And very often, the outside world is reflecting our inside world, which means if you see patterns in the way your team behaves, in the way your customers behaves, or even at home, that is an impactful insight. It's a feedback, it's a mirror of what showing you what needs to shift inside. Only then you can go into the deeper analysis and reflection to find out what you need to shift. And I promise you, the moment you shift something within yourself, belief, sense of safety, anchor new identity, bold decision, bold choice, or maybe prioritize yourself before anything else, this is the moment the reality, the results in your business, in your team, the engagement will start to shift. And this is the moment you are going to show up as a version of you that is going to be more attractive for any new role that you're trying to land for yourself as well. So, practice of observation and reflection is very important. And this is definitely one of the key habits that we make a part of our natural being within the ascent to extraordinary leadership, because it can literally shift everything for you once you catch what you need to shift. So that are the 9 habits of extraordinary leadership, 9 levers that determine 80% of your success rate, especially when you want to realize something in a sustainable way and when you want to feel energized in the process of doing so. Those 9 are part of my reflection. And I hope that this also gave you a possibility to raise your awareness and discover what are the priorities for you for the second half of 2025 and beyond. And I hope you not only gave yourself a numbers, I hope that you also are going to walk out with decision. Because remember, bold and fast action matters. And remember, this is the process that we walk through in Ascent to Extraordinary Leadership with many different resources, tools, my personal guidance, and of course, the whole ecosystem and people that walk with you. So if that resonates with you and you want to realize your vision, your mission, your goals that you so much desire, that you so much stand for with your organization, with your business, and in your career, then this is an invitation for you to join us, to walk this journey, to elevate from within to your next level that you need to elevate to so that you can succeed with your vision and with your goals and with your next career aspirations. Now, as the last part of today, I promise you a mini envisioning exercise. And so we're going to do it now. I want to leave you starting to dream about what's possible for you at the end of this year. So either you pause and do this exercise later, or you are now not driving, hopefully, and sitting in a safe place where you can close your eyes, preferably. If not, you can do it with open eyes. But please don't do it while driving. Don't do it while chatting with many different people, and find a quiet space for yourself. So let's shift from liquefaction to a mini vision. I invite you to close your eyes. And just for a moment, relax your jaw, your shoulder. Slow down your breath. And bring the awareness into your inner self, into here and now. And I would like you to imagine yourself that it's December 2025. You are somewhere there, looking back at this year. Your team is thriving. Your business is at a place that you couldn't imagine better. You've built something powerful and meaningful. And you feel energized, powerful, deeply fulfilled, grateful. Allow yourself to just be there right now. Allowing yourself see everything that belongs to that picture. See that new role that you landed, the environment. And now look back and ask yourself, what decisions did you make that brought you there? That's changed the game. That allowed you to become your next level. More bold, more alive, more energized, more trusting, more believing, more confident, more calm, more grounded, more present. What did you need to let go of? And what did you need to believe in? Just allow yourself to welcome whatever comes, whatever is meant to you. If nothing came yet, don't worry, it will come afterwards, and you can always revisit that. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes if you had it closed. And I invite you to write down whatever came and stay with that energy, because that will provide you more clarity on where you want to be, at the end of this year, what you want to call into, what you want to realize, and what decisions you need to take to get there. And maybe one of those decisions will be to step into your next level in ascent to extraordinary leadership. I invite you to think about it. And I thank you for staying until the end, knowing that everything is within yourself that you really truly want to realize in the next half year. So congratulations for successful first half and for all the lessons and all the wisdom that transpired through that. You are ready for making 2025 second half a meaningful pivotal shift, successful, fulfilled. Wishing you all the best for the summertime that is starting. We will be continuing, of course, with these podcast episodes. But for now, enjoy. Enjoy this reflection, enjoy this envisioning, enjoy this planning, and enjoy bold decision taking. Thank you for being with me today.